6 o'clock, so we will start the meeting. And I would like to remind everyone of the City of Perry's core values. It's a strong work ethic, problem solving, community oriented, shows professionalism and integrity, is a team player, is accountable, and is a good steward. Roll call, please.
Mahler?
Yes.
Yes. Shelley?
Yes.
Schott?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully y'all had a chance to review the meeting agenda. Could I have a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call.
Shelley?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Mahler?
Yes.
Wally? Yes. Schott?
Yes.
Okay, first thing's consent agenda. It's the minutes of February 18th, 2025 regular city council meeting. There are 12 contract service payments to Bolton and Mank, so totaling $72,166.47. There's claims register and financial of $344,729.61, and we have no licenses and permits. Could I have a motion, please?
Approve the consent agenda?
I'll second.
Chuck?
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Walling? Yes. Mahler?
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes.
Schott?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Okay, city administrators report.
All right, just a couple of things. First is the Perry Next strategic plan. I think it was last week, had quite a few subcommittee meetings for the strategic plan. Then here in a couple more weeks, we'll have another executive committee meeting where they will share some of the findings and some of the feedback that they've received so far. So seems to be a good process and very good and interesting feedback so far. So excited about the path forward with that. Also next week, there will be a kickoff meeting for the destination marketing strategic plan. So we'll be excited to get that process started and get the group kicked off and again, get some other committees together and get as much input and collaboration as we can. Then 2 weeks ago, maybe, I was able to meet with Representative Nordman to go over some topics, legislative topics, and had a very good conversation with him. I think he understands our position and what we're here to do and the services that we provide to our citizens and the importance of maintaining those services. So it's kind of a interesting, the legislative season is always an interesting time. A lot of stuff gets thrown out. I believe this Friday is the first funnel, so we'll see what kind of makes it through to really be able to kind of hone in a little bit more on the bills that are still alive and going through the process. So a little bit of a hurry up and wait. I do believe both the House and Senate are working on property tax bills. I don't know that they'll be how similar they'll be, but did also get to have a good conversation with another House member that is kind of involved with that and shared some of Perry's perspectives and obstacles that we've encountered with the 2023 property tax reform. So hoping to continue those conversations. Carter and I did not get through much of my list, but we hit probably the biggest portion with the property tax conversation. So I think there's lots of room to work together. Both Representative Nordman and Senator Green have been very receptive to having conversations and listening and kind of talking things out. So Mayor may make comment as well. Do you want to take it from there?
Good listeners, but whether they vote for us or against us, it's still to be seen.
So may have another chance to chat with folks again tomorrow. It is the Iowa League of Cities Local Leaders Day. So Mayor Kavanaugh, along with Councilman Mahler and Shelley, will be, and myself will be headed down to Des Moines for presentations in the morning and then the opportunity for some conversations in the afternoon, but yeah. So any questions for me?
Okay, move on to the mayor council comments. We've got a couple things I'd like to talk about today. First one is John Anderson gave me a tour of some of their projects the other day, and they're getting just about finished, so I want to bring them up. Legion Hall renovation is coming very close. They're in painting and getting ready to put the flooring down. That's going to be a really nice space when it's repurposed. And then the other one is the practice facility building down at the baseball diamonds. They're getting ready to put the artificial turf in down there, and then the batting cage is sitting there ready to be installed, and then we'll hopefully being able to start using it before spring hits. And want to put a shout out again to the AmeriCorps personnel that were here, because without them, neither one of those projects would be where they're at today. So thank them and hope they'll come back again. And then I just wanted to mention on my wife's behalf that this Saturday at 10 o'clock is International Women's Day celebration here in Perry. So if you would like to come attend that, it's there for anyone that is invited to attend. So anybody in the council have anything they'd like to discuss? Okay, next up is open forum. Speakers should step up to the microphone, state their name and address for the record, and then you will be given 3 minutes to address the council. So any open forum requests?
Caleb Winey, 802 15th Street, Perry. Talking about like budget season, property taxes coming up, working with different legislators and whatnot. Property taxes are kind of the #1 political top button. And, looking at Perry's population and, the stuff that we've had going on in the community, we didn't break kind of $3 million in revenue intake until 2021. And then we only went up in like $200,000 last year in property tax intake revenue. And so as it's budget season and, you guys are choosing on how to spend our tax dollars, obviously, the school takes the biggest portion of that, then the cities and then the counties. But last year we got hit with a 23.5% property tax increase from the county. And so that's something that, Dallas County's still paying for, unfortunately, with Mark Hansen and those folks. But just as we go forward into budget season, I would just encourage you guys, please, keep in mind that you are spending taxpayer dollars. And so the more property tax intake revenue that you guys take to spend within the community, those are dollars that are coming from taxpayers. And so I just want to talk about property taxes briefly. And then the second thing was I approached the council several months ago, been kind of busy down at the State House and traveling around with my job and stuff, but just wanted to come back and reiterate. I asked for the council to put on the agenda the opportunity for me to have a written consent for an exception to 41.08 in our city code, and as well as 41.09. So I just have a copy of those that I'll pass around, but just to reiterate the request, the code states in 41.08, it is unlawful for a person to discharge firearms, shotguns, rifles, revolvers, pistols, guns, BB guns, or other firearms of any kind within the city limits, except for by written consent of the council. And then 41.09 is throwing and shooting. And that one states it is unlawful for a person to throw stones, bricks, missiles of any kinds, or shoot arrows, rubber guns, slingshots, air rifles, or other dangerous instruments or toys on or into any street, alley, highway, sidewalk, public way, public ground, or public building without written consent of the council. So both of those, I'm asking for written consent of the council, and I'm asking for it to be placed on the agenda to be discussed at a later date, so that can be voted on whether yes or no. It doesn't make really a difference to me in the aspect. When I contacted the DNR, because I own 10.5 acres on the northwest side of town, I contacted the DNR and tried to get a landowner's boat tag, which is like $3 and some cents. And then being a veteran, my hunting and fishing license is only like $7 a year. So I'd have been able to harvest a deer and get my license for like $10. And so that's really, really cheap protein and meat for me to eat. But my 1 acre that I have that's outside of the city limits did not qualify me enough for the landowner's tag. So I won't be able to get that tag from the DNR unless I have a written consent from the council because the ag land has to be more than 3 acres in size. So I have a section that I harvest hay on my back 3.5. But since that was in city limits, I didn't have permission to bow hunt that section or have an exemption to 41.09. The DNR was unable to issue me a landowner's title or a landowner's tag for archery season. So I had to, it was like $38 or something like that. So that's why it's important to me. I'm able to discharge my weapons and do all that stuff on that section in the county. I think it's out of the dozen times that I've shot out there, I've probably been visited by an officer almost every time. So it's just good conversation to have with our local police department and obviously our sheriff as well. But they have my name and my phone number, and I tell them, hey, if you ever get a call for shots fired on this side of town, just call me. But I've had, numerous visits and good conversations with them. So everything I'm doing out there so far is legal, but with the written permission, it will just kind of free me up to not worry quite so much about lines. And I've had the chief out there as well to kind of look where I'm talking about. But if we could, make a motion and put that on the agenda to be discussed at a later date, I would appreciate it. Thank you for your guys' time.
Yep. Discussion on that? Okay. Any other open forum requests? Okay. That move on to old business. Item A is approval of future payment for grant reimbursement under council contract 22 ARDPH 046. This is for the downtown housing grant for the Tin Pig or Sheffer Enterprises LLC. And it would be authorizing the final grant reimbursement in the amount of 600,000 when we receive that from the Iowa Economic Development Authority. So could I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve future payment for grant reimbursement under contract number 22-ARDPH-046.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion?
Believe Liz,
Was working with Carla on it. It's kind of redundant. We say we're going to reimburse them in all of the grant agreements, but the company that is administrating the grant for the state wants it in council minutes that once we get the money, we will refund it. So, like I said, a little redundant, but they won't give us the money until it's in the council minutes. So.
Very good.
Other discussion?
They coming on those apartments, are they close?
yeah, I was actually up there last week and they all look pretty close to being done. I think, just working on some punch list items and
On the second, for both
second and third.
second.
And then I believe probably the last big step is Alliant getting that new transformer set and getting a new power supply hooked up to the building. So
But it's all wired from that point.
I believe so, yeah.
Sprinklers are pretty much in from what I understand too, so. No further discussion? Roll call, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Baller,
Yes.
Yes.
Shot.
Yeah.
Line.
Yes.
Okay, item B is resolution authorizing exemption from city franchise fees. So we are requesting an increase in the natural gas fees from 2 to 4 that we approved last time and we'll be voting on again today. But this was just put a resolution forward that would exempt all the city of Perry accounts from that franchise fee.
I make a motion, we pass a resolution authorizing exemption from the city franchise fees.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'm trying to find an email from Liz just for further discussion on, are you able to pull it up? I believe from the last time, probably the original time the franchise fee was implemented, there was other entities included on that.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Yeah.
Okay, so, kind of, as we've talked before, there's no clear cut, but from when being Mid-American right now, everybody that's getting exemptions outside of city accounts would include the hospital, the Dallas County Engineers, which I believe is the county shed probably out
Yep.
on P58. The Dallas County Ambulance Service, and who else was on here? Perry accounts, school, community district, the elementary school. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Busware. So the school accounts and then some of those off ones. And then for Alliant, again, the city accounts would be or currently exempt, the hospital, and then Progressive Foundry. So
Yeah, so that was some of the discussion we had, was that 2 meetings ago around like current exemptions versus exemptions moving forward. It's difficult. I don't think Mid-American could give us a number of what those franchise fees would be from the current gas exemptions. But we have a very good idea of the exemptions for the hospital and the foundry. Hospital is currently, it was right around that $10,000 a year mark. I believe the foundry was 65-ish thousand dollars a year that we actually quarterly, they provide us their bills and basically an invoice for that franchise fee. And then we process that as a bill in the claims register. Kind of in the history of looking at all this, we really can't find any sort of, you know, resolution or council minutes or anything directing that, other than it's just always been part of the franchise fee process with Alliant. Because Alliant, in the original process, they, or Mid-American can exempt the whatever list council presents them on the bill, but Alliant Energy stated that they couldn't do that. So any reimbursement would have to be on the back end of the city actually getting the bills and making that reimbursement. So with the current operating budget we have right now is balanced with not having any franchise fee reimbursements. So depending on the outcome, you know, if council sticks to only excluding the exemption or only allowing the exemption for city buildings, our operating budget would be as is. If any other exemptions are added in, we'd have to go back and either look at fee or rate increases to offset that, or possibly cuts to our operating budget. So that's kind of where the budget is right now. And none of that would affect the consolidated general fund tax levy rate that is farther down on the agenda. It would just be our general fund and operating fund that we would have to go back to the drawing board on. Like I said, it would have to be kind of a trial and error year to see what those other exemptions on the gas side would bring in. But, you know, hopefully moving forward in the future, that would help the general fund as well. So, some of my research background on this, there's really only a couple of communities that have any sort of exemption process actually laid out. And then when I did a survey of metro communities and if they have any sort of reimbursement process, none of them had anything like that. So that includes like Altoona with Facebook, and just because it comes to mind, Perishable Distributors of Iowa, which is a Hy-Vee connection, and Ankeny for their cold distribution. All only, you know, city properties are exempt. So when it comes to the school and the hospital, it's been a few years ago that we kind of ended our practice of reimbursing building permit fees, or not reimbursing, but exempting building permits fees for the school and hospital. Really along the basis that those other entities, along with Dallas County Engineer and Ambulance Service, they pull from a much larger tax base than what we do. So really, by exempting those entities, our ratepayers and taxpayers are subsidizing those services like first responder services, police, fire, but also services to the employees that work there of library, Parks and Rec, and others like that. So it's really kind of the more fair, equitable distribution to be able to get that revenue to support those services for those entities and businesses from their tax bases versus our smaller tax base. So when it comes to the foundry, and I believe our collective private eye detective side business that Liz, Susie, and I have, I think the original kind of intent or agreement was that with Weiss using natural gas for their primary energy source in their process, and the foundry using electric, that those would be reimbursed. And again, on the gas side, Weiss could do that with gas through Mid-American on the bill. And our hunch is that when Weiss sold 2014 or 2015, the bill was probably updated to a new name with that sale, and that reimbursement or exemption went away. So it's still been practice to do that with the foundry. I've had some conversations with them over the years. It's kind of just one of those, with, I think Susie did a calculation with the new property tax structure. We're actually, get the exact number, 40. Oh, oh, but so we are collecting $49,000 less in the general fund than what we would have with the previous property tax structure. So this is kind of one of those ripple effects of that legislation, just trying to keep up with the basic services that we provide. And really, nothing new in this budget other than just maintaining what we have, doing our regular raises and, just kind of adjusting for other inflationary costs that cities incur regardless, and, oftentimes more than what milk and eggs has in inflation. We're buying concrete and steel and building supplies, things like that. So all of those things have gone up very, very much in the last 10 to 20 years. So that's a very long explanation. I don't know, Susie or Liz, did I miss any important points, or is there questions, conversation?
Reasonable.
I'll say, I said this last time, I'm okay with the City of Perry stuff, but I do believe, I know that we get a lot of support from the foundry in this community, but I do think there should be more conversation behind that. Exemptions for private companies. It's just my thought. And I'm not saying no, I just think there should be more conversation.
with the resolution, depending on how you guys set it up, this isn't like a forever deal. You could make a motion to approve city exemptions at this time and then follow up with, other exemptions later, or request for it to come back to the agenda to add an exemption in. I mean, it's not like this is necessarily set in stone.
Yep.
It can, fluctuate.
Right.
And it's not that it has to be done at the time that the franchise is, it's just with the ordinance, they like to kind of have that up front because it does take them, I think, about 90 days roughly from the take of when the ordinance prints for it to flip and then turn on. So if we were to add something down the road, there might be a little lapse in time before, and like Sven said, differences, Mid-American can exempt it on the bill, Alliant can't. So depending on which entities, and which ones we're doing, that could make a difference too.
Yeah, based on our conversation last time, I guess my sticking point is I would like to know when and why this happened in the first place. I don't know. It seems like we can't discern that.
It
on-
started, I think around 2006 is when the reimbursement started. Is that kind of what, I think, I don't want to speak for Susie, but I think that's kind of what her recollection is or was 2005, 2006-ish. So, but.
Jackson, would you like to?
Something else, but talk about it. I just for consideration, this $65,000 is a huge pill for us to swallow all at one time. And we haven't had a lot of conversation about this getting reversed recently. We actually learned about this morning, which is why I'm here for something else, not for this, but I just thought I'd throw it out there. Like, is there something that the council can consider that's not $65,000 a year all at one time? Because otherwise I'm definitely gonna have to go back to our customers and we're gonna have to increase some prices and we're gonna go through all that type stuff. So understand what you guys are talking about, but
Yeah, I think.
Any questions
that's-
for
I mean,
me?
just things like that.
Yeah.
Being able to figure out
Do you
a
know
plan
the history
forward.
of
Yeah.
how it came about in the first place?
I was 12 in 2006. But to my understanding, it was an agreement. If you talk to my dad and my uncle, it was an agreement that they had with Butch Niebuhr, and it was never in writing. It was a handshake type deal that we will do this, and we've always counted on it. And so we've never put it in our budget that we'd have to pay natural gas franchise fees. So I would just what I would urge is conversation with us. We're always open. So come talk to us. We'll figure something out. I'm half the foundry. I can't talk to half the hospital.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, the foundry is paying on natural gas right now. It's only Alliant that we're reimbursing.
Sure.
But the resolution, the way I have it drafted is for
The blank.
City building.
for the blank, just, for both.
Right.
And like I said, I put a big stamp of draft on there, so you guys give us the direction on.
Can we pass this with the caveat that we're gonna have more conversations about it later? Do we, is that?
Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
For the next
I mean,
meeting.
I would say we could,
You do change your mind though, Jeremy, moving forward, you're gonna have to do another resolution.
Right.
would it be easier to table the action until the next meeting?
There's some rush on that very.
Jackson, you,
Yeah, that'd be great.
okay,
Conversation would be great.
sure.
It might, maybe instead of tabling it, because I know Susie's gonna need it for the budget to finalize all of our numbers, because it will make a drastic change. Maybe either holding a special meeting or a phone poll where after the discussion takes place, I do a phone poll for you guys so we can move forward with the budget. By the end of the week, and then I can put that back.
If you could come up with if you could, by next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can make that work, Jackson, just to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Everybody else make that work? Why am I talking?
Sounds like you're volunteering.
So how would you like to amend the motion,
Give me a second. Let me think about this.
Jeremy?
Oh, I was letting Liz think about it.
Okay, or Liz, yes.
Do a motion in a second to table the action for further conversation. You listening to me, do a further conversation with private industries? Yeah, yeah. I need a motion and a second to table the action for further conversations with private industries to be brought back to council at this meeting on the 7th.
Motion to
17.
table,
I'll second.
All right, so that was Shelley and Walling. Okay, and then I guess just after you guys schedule the time with them, let us know so I can formalize the resolution, get it out for a telephone poll, and then we'll put it back on the 17th for the actual formal action.
Just,
Thank you.
Okay,
You like
other discussion?
do that, okay?
yeah,
Okay.
Joe had a question.
Oh, sorry.
No.
No.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Okay, roll call.
Shelley,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
And we're on to new business. Item A is a resolution approving the agreement with Civic Systems for financial software. To be the, when you're estimated at $102,303 plus travel costs estimated at $5,117. It's to do the training, install the software and get it up and running. So could I have a motion, please?
Motion to move forward, resolution approving agreement and civic systems for financial software. Item A.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
This, I think we have kind of talked through G-Works issues a while ago, so this is mostly Liz and Susie along, I think, a couple department heads were able to look at some of the payroll side of things. But Civic Systems was their top pick to move forward with. I think not only just kind of the implementation schedule, Civic Systems has assured both of them that we'd be up and running by the end of the calendar year, which is when that G-Works support ends. So we'll have that switch over later this year, but there's a lot of behind the scenes building and information input and things like that. But I think I'm really excited from what I've seen from this, from the timekeeping payroll side to the department head portal side of being able to view their budget. I think it's going to really do some pretty good things for us as far as engagement and understanding of where budgets sit, things like that. But I also ask Susie or Liz, do you have any other?
So this was an undertaking and we looked at several different systems, really narrowed it down to this one and another one. This one is based out of Wisconsin. We were really kind of growing out of G-Works because of our population size and all of the things that go into our budget. So these guys are kind of focused towards a little bit more of the larger communities. They currently service Clive, Pella, Norwalk, Newton, which are comparable in size to us for population, not necessarily tax valuation. But they have over 30 communities that they do in the state. If we sign with them, we will be number 18 after the G-Works fiasco. And they're anticipated about 20 total is what the sales rep said. One of the things that is included in this is we are going to propose that we're buying the license fees up front. And what that does is after year 3, when they start to do their annual increases, they go off of the Consumer Price Index, CPI, and that ranges anywhere from 0 to 4% a year. So that helps keep us at that lower rate of the 26,000 and some change for the annual cost for it, which is actually a couple $100 cheaper than what we're getting charged for G-Works, and the software is it's very, I don't know. what the
It'll
word-
be huge time savings.
Oh, yes.
It'll be, make us a lot more.
Yeah. And a lot of less paper, a lot more things will be electronic, approvals, and it'll be easy to grab and pull up, on the fly reporting. It goes in and out of Excel and Microsoft Word, incredibly easy. Like Sven was talking, it has a project or activity tracker. So as we get new projects, we can flag them and really track the cost of everything. So also will help with our workman's comp, because we'll be able to flag all of the street department for when they're actually doing snow removal. Something that we can't do now, because snow removal time is cheaper than regular street time. So
I remember when we talked about this initially and it sounded like a really good deal. I forget though, do you guys, I don't know what the word is, because I don't know technology. You guys have to port all that information, or does it, can we take all of our existing information and it just moves over? Is that, so there's not a bunch of data entry time?
that's about, yeah,
Do internally.
I would say that's about, I don't remember. Yeah, yeah, the conversion portion of it. So we'll give them all of our data, they'll.
And they just,
Yeah, we are paying a little bit extra because they do current year and 1 year prior as part of the fee, and then we're paying a little bit extra to have a total of 5 years is what current, and then 4, so we'll have a total of 5 running years. So, and then we'll still have the information in the old system if we, in an archive. to go back and find it.
This also includes building permits.
Yes.
and Code enforcement.
Yep. Yeah, so, and it gives us access for like an employee portal, because right now we don't have an employee portal. All of their information is on their stubs, so it gives them access to be able to go in and reprint their direct deposit sheets, look up their tax returns, send us notification that they want to make adjustment to direct deposit or their W-2s. We'll also be able to do our, insurance, why can't I think of what that?
Insurance renewal.
Yeah, insurance renewals, yeah, we'll be able to flow through there, so, and then we'll be able to give access to our provider on that, on what everybody has selected for insurance for the next year, so there's that. And then with payables, it's if you have the invoice electronically, it'll go out and capture it in the email and send it to a file for me, then I can spit it out to the department heads and they electronically code and approve it. And then it spits it back to me and tells me that it's ready to be loaded into the system. So it'll save, I've told these guys, they're all gonna hate me at like for the first 2 months, and then they're gonna figure out how much less time they're sitting there actually manually doing things, and it's gonna save an astronomical amount of time for everybody.
cool. Streamline is great.
Yeah.
The discussion. Roll call, please.
Shelley,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Okay, item B is resolution setting a schedule for the 2025 yard waste disposal dates and procedures. It was included as an addition to this package, so you should have had a chance to review that. So could I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve resolution setting a schedule for the 2025 yard waste disposal dates and procedures.
I'll second that.
Any discussion needed?
Pretty much same as every year.
Yep.
It'll go out, the schedule will go out in the water bills for everybody to fervently wait for by the mailbox and then immediately post on their refrigerator. This also gets posted on the website as well, so it's always accessible there. So
Roll call, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Okay, item C is a resolution setting a public hearing date on fiscal year 2026 consolidated general fund tax levy rate. And so this will be set for June 30th, 2026 at 5:30 PM on, okay, for the year ending June 30th, 2026 at 5:30 PM on April 7th, 2025 in this room at 1102 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. So I have a motion, please.
Make a motion, we approve resolution setting a public hearing date on fiscal year 2026 consolidated general fund tax levy rate.
I'll second that.
Okay,
So it is for the 2026, but we had to start this process with fiscal year 2020.
Okay, this is the third year for the combined general fund levy. The first year, it took, so 2024 it was like the base year, and it took our 810 general fund levy, it took our emergency fund levy, the 27 cents, and it also, took the rec center levy of 13.5 cents. So that gave us the baseline. So now, if, depending on how much a city grows, is how much your levy rate is adjusted. So we grew 2.79%. The cutoff was like 2.75, so that's like less than 4%. But now we have to reduce our combined general fund levy by 1%. So that reduces it down. It started out like at 8.55. This current year, it's 8.34, and now the upcoming year will be 8.25. So it is going down. And like Sven said, we're working on balancing our operating budget. We still need to finish up the capitals. I have a 3-page memo in the packet, which I'm not gonna read, but if you would like to read it, you can. And we'll talk about it more at the public hearing at the meeting in April. That is at 5:30 because this has to be a separate meeting from the regular council meeting. So we just have to, we're gonna have it a half hour earlier. This is the only action that we can be taken on this meeting, and then we'll move on to the council meeting after that. If you have any questions, you can let me know. It will be published in the paper coming up. The county will send that out as well to each individual address. So that's why we have to have this. The county needs it. The county will send out the letter to every residence by the 15th.
And that's kind of what I mentioned earlier from the, was it $8.55 to $8.25, that, you know, 30-cent difference is about $50,000.
That's the spreadsheet. The top part of that spreadsheet shows the combined general fund levy and how that the valuation increase affects it. The scenario 1 underneath that is what it would be like if we did not have the combined general fund levy, if it was still the 810 and the emergency levy and the rec center levy. It would be like this current year, the difference was about 31,000. The revenue gap for next year is 49,000. So that's what the combined general fund levy, how it affects our budget.
Yep.
I think we have a theme for tonight.
Depression.
okay. Other discussion? Thank you, Susie. Okay, can I have roll call, please?
Waller?
Yes.
Waller?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Shot?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Okay, finally, we have 2 ordinances tonight. Item A is the second possible third reading of an ordinance vacating a portion of public right of way in the city of Perry, Dallas County, Iowa. Again, it's the portion of Rawson Street between First and Second Street, along with the southern portion of the alley that runs between First and Second Street. Then this will allow Progressive Foundry to build a parking lot on that side of the road and allow their employees to walk safely to and from their offices. The public hearing was held on this matter on February 18th meeting, and also the first reading was held then. So could I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we do the second reading of the ordinance vacating a portion of the public right of way in the city of Perry, Dallas County, Iowa.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Discussion last week, there was a neighbor to the foundry that stated that she didn't get a notice.
Yep.
Did that happen?
Yeah, so I sent a second notice. I walked to each of the doors along the alleyway and pasted a postcard. And then I also mailed them one as well, so everybody was notified. And the foundry did take into account, I stated at the last meeting Sherry Van Gundy at 1610 First Ave had a concern about closing the alleyway access due to like snow removal. So the Foundry did take that into account and did provide me a preliminary site plan, which I can pass around to each of you, showing to keep that access open. So that will assist with like work students.
You're satisfied with the,
Yeah. and I
Site plan?
This is preliminary, so it still needs to go to in zoning and city council to you guys as well, but kind of shows the general layout of the parking.
So once the property is vacated, then we'll be able to go through the disposal process, which is another public hearing and meeting. So that would be the next process, right?
Yep, and I haven't, I did share that updated layout with Sherry, and she had no other concerns or comments, and I haven't received any other concerns or comments from any of the neighbors.
Okay, any further discussion? We have roll call, please.
The second reading, Walling,
yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, and then now I would accept a motion to waive the rules and hold the third reading tonight.
Make a motion to waive third reading this evening.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
I make a motion that we do the third reading of this ordinance vacating a portion of the public right of way in the city of Perry, Dallas County, Iowa.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. All right, so Klein. No, sorry, Walling went first. Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Passes. Okay, and the next one is the second and possible third reading for an ordinance amending the code of ordinance chapter 110 natural gas franchise. This would replace the existing chapter. It'd be for the next 25-year term and would increase the franchise fee from 4% or from 2% to 4%. Again, this was public hearing was held on February 18th. And the first reading was held on that same meeting. So could I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we pass second reading for an ordinance amending the code of ordinance chapter 110 natural gas franchise.
And I'll second that.
Discussion.
Just a reminder, it's just the franchise agreement, so it won't have anything that we talked about prior to.
Yep.
In the 2% increase.
Roll call, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, and then again, could I get a motion to waive the rules and hold the third reading this evening?
Make a motion, we suspend the rules and do the third reading.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mahler.
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, now a motion for the third reading of the ordinance amending the code of ordinance chapter 110 natural gas franchise.
I make that motion.
And I'll second.
Okay, further discussion? Okay, roll call.
Klein.
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, no other business. We will adjourn.